everybody. It is currently about 6:20. I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm running on about 4 hours sleep, but I have been asked to cover a BUCS competition team and basically fill in a spot on a team for a university competition. So I'm going to head up to the yard and ride my boys before I go and compete on some horses I've never ridden. And I know that for most of you that probably won't make any sense at all, so I'm going to bring you with me to the yard and explain exactly what's going on, because I've been saying that I will document one of these competitions and I intend to do it. Right, good morning everybody. I am running so late. You're going to have to put up with me filming whilst lunging Star in the background. He's very muddy because I haven't had proper time to brush him, and the sun's going to be in my face every 2 minutes because like the sun is just coming up. It's early, I'm already late, it's not a good start. But hello everybody. I think I did a very brief intro earlier saying today is going to be a vlog all about university competitions. And I get so many questions when I say like over on Instagram, Star, that I am part of the university running team. I'm part of the Loughborough C team. Sorry, I'm kind of very distracted whilst also filming. It's going to be very informal. And yeah, I have my team competitions. You have 4, and then based on how you do with all of them, one team gets to go to regionals. My next team competition is actually next week, but very last minute, last night, I got called in to fill a place in one of the Loughborough friendly teams. As well as like league teams, you have non-league teams, and that is what I'm going to be doing today. The university teams and how it works is all very confusing. Some rules are very, very similar to standard team competitions, and some rules are very, very different. Right, we've changed reins and gone a little bit wild, so hopefully that's out of our system now. Keep walking. Yeah, so just like normal pony club or Olympic teams, you do have 4 people, but unlike pony club and Olympic teams, if you only send 3, you don't just take the 3 top scores. If you send 3 people, then the 4th person's score comes from the worst mark of the day, add 30 penalties. So in combined training, that's quite costly, especially if there's been any eliminations across the whole day, which, considering we're going to be competing on is quite common. Yeah, some of the BUCS rules, I could do a whole vlog on the BUCS rules, what's complicated, what I think should and shouldn't be BUCS rules. It's a very interesting one, and I'm going to try and bring you along as much as possible today so that you can also experience the joys of BUCS competitions. Okay, we've reined in the almighty beast. We've had our 20-minute lunch together. I don't think I can push it much more. I'm going to be very, very late. But yeah, I should probably warn you that the mentality we have when we go to these competitions is to take everything with a pinch of salt. If you've done BUCS, you'll probably know what I mean. If you haven't, then you'll come to see what I mean. It's all just a bit of fun. At the end of the day, awards are mostly marked based off of judges' discretion in both jumping and dressage, so you kind of are marked in style as you would be doing a dressage test over a course of jumps as well, and the jumps are only going to be up to 75 centimetres, which doesn't sound like a very arduous task. However, there are very strict rules about what you can and can't do. For example, you're not even allowed to check your own girth. That may be seen as unfair. Your girth has to be checked for you by someone that's neutral. And once you get on, I think you have 7 minutes to warm up for flat work and 5 for jumping, including 4 jumping attempts. So yes, I'll bring you along and you can see. I think we're off to Leicestershire today. I don't actually know because this isn't my league, but I will ask the girls. Yeah, I'm excited to show you something a bit different to eventing, and Star's excited to go back to the stable and have some breakfast, so let's get going. Let's go. Oh, look at that. The sun's actually come out for once, which I'm quite happy with. Okay. Now I'm back and I've made up some time. Stress levels are actually starting to go down a little bit, which is good. I'm in my second outfit of the day. Well, I'm changing into it, which is my lovely actual competition jumps. I don't think I've had these on since my arena eventing vlog in November last year, so that's a long time. It's good to be back. I'm show shirt, and I'm going to try and keep this base layer on underneath because I think it's going to be cold today, and you never really know what you're going to get. Are you going to be stuck outside? Are you going to be inside? And this angle's probably so unflattering. But yes, I'm feeling a little bit better about everything now. Now that I know I'm not hopefully going to be late, I'm going to sit down and watch the dressage test, because I have not learned this, because obviously I only found out last night I was doing it. Although all the teams do actually have the same dressage test, bar I think like if you're in the very, very top league, you then have a slightly different one. So should be alright, shouldn't be too difficult to learn. It's kind of the equivalent of like prelim to novice standard, somewhere in the middle, I think. So yeah, so let's pop them about and get packing, and then we'll leave you in 15 minutes. Right, I have 10 minutes until I need to leave, so I am watching the dressage test on YouTube in double speed. Shout out to the University of Portsmouth team. I think this is from like 5 years ago, but hopefully it'll just like kick me into shape and help me remember the test, because it's been a long time since I've done it. That's the plan. Right, now to head off around campus in my white jumpers and get some funny looks. Yes, let's go. Right, so this is my first time filming one of these vlogs, and there's quite a lot to explain. So a lot of this vlog is going to have like voiceover. I'm going to explain exactly what's going on. So obviously we've just arrived here. Right, we've arrived. I'm just grabbing my whip because I've got it. It's quite nice here, quite fancy. The first thing you do when you arrive is the draw. You literally pull numbers out of a hat like you can see here. The first one is done by the captain to determine your team's position, because you're competing against 4 other unis, so it determines who will start. We drew first on this day, and then every individual pulls out to see the horses. So you can see here the horses that we had to choose from, and you don't know anything about them when you pull the number out of the hat other than their name and their height. Then you all head outside and you watch a demo done by riders from the home team but that aren't competing on this day, which means you get 5 minutes to watch them walk, trot and canter before you get on them, so you can see how they move. You then get 7 minutes to warm up. They're very strict about this, not a minute more, not a minute less. If you finish before your time to go in, you then have to walk around on a loose rein. And on this particular day, the luck of the draw was not on my side. Let's go, let's roll the clip. I drew very first of the day, so no one had done a test yet, and the horses hadn't been in the indoor. This was the horse I drew. You can see him stopping there to try and do a poo on the centre line, which was brilliant. He was called Monty, and he was very sweet. They did warn me at the very start that he was a bit cheeky, and actually a few weeks ago apparently smashed a mirror in the indoor school because he was being silly. When I warmed him up, he was alright on the left rein, but he did not want to move on the right rein. When I mean did not want to move, I mean he planted. And with BUCS, you sort of have to cut your losses. When that happens, and you just got to get on with it. So I went into the arena, and as you can see, I wasn't really making an effort to try and get him on the contact, because it was like irritating him when I tried to do that in the warm-up and resulted in him stopping. Instead, we were very much going for accuracy marks and just keeping an all-right rhythm, although I am in a minute about to do a horrifically shaped 5-metre loop, which makes me cringe to watch it. I think it's about 8 metres. But yes, so I watched him in the demo specifically because I knew I would be on him, and in the demo they didn't really touch his mouth. They kind of let his head carriage be, they left it alone, so I decided to follow that. And here is me doing the test. Here is the horrific 5-metre loop. I'm very sorry to any of my dressage instructors. I don't know what I was doing here. So yeah, it wasn't going great, and that's just the nature of BUCS, but you get on with it. The test was going okay. Here is where I start to get a little bit nervous, because I have to ask for a right leg canter, having not been able to get him to move at all on the right rein in the warm-up. So obviously I hadn't cantered him on the right rein, and as you can see, he wasn't enjoying it too much. He was being a little bit sassy, and some of the BUCS did get a little bit bigger. I think he's about to put a nice big one there. Oh, cheeky boy. And my stirrups were quite long, because they're pretty strict with what you can and can't do. Like I said earlier, you can't adjust your own girths. I don't think you can do your own stirrups, so I had already put them up with the girls' like supervision once, and I kind of didn't want to do it again. In hindsight, I should have. And then here I sort of cut my losses, and I'm like, right, well, we're not going to get a very good mark anyway. We've done a lot of bucking. My stirrups were quite long, and then he was away in the left leg canter. He loved it. Watching this test back, I actually cringe a bit how badly I rode the corners. The only thing I would say is it's not like doing a test on your own horse. Like, everything happens so quickly, because not only does stuff come up quick in a dressage test normally, but you don't know this horse at all, so you are like firing at 110 miles an hour, and something I need to get better at is keeping my cool and still riding really accurately into the corners, even in this moment. I was meant to trot back there. He suddenly decided here he didn't fancy trotting, and I'm sort of like trying to pull him up without pulling his mouth too much because they told me he didn't like that, and so he kind of went crashing down the centre line. Really not a good end to a test. Yeah, probably goes down as my worst one ever, but that's okay.
Hey.
Right, next up we've got Rebecca on Basil. Go on, Basil. Here I have just included about 10 to 15 seconds of all of my other wonderful teammates' tests, so you can kind of see the range of horses they had. They all smashed it and did such a good job. How many jobs again? You both win. Thoughts on the test?
What do you want me to say?
You've got to say whatever you think.
Basil was an absolute powerhouse, beautiful pony, and overall very good job.
Good, we like it.
Here she is.
Go on, Charlotte. I was getting a couple of little bit. You happy with that, Charlotte? Thoughts? How are we feeling? That'll be a win. Smashed it! Dressage finished, it was then time for lunch, and I'm still thinking about those cupcakes. They were so good. We then got to see some sneaky pictures of the jumping horses, which was cool, before we did the draw, and would you believe it, I drew first again. First of the whole day. Then it was time to head outside and walk the course, a little cheeky double at fence 2, which is a bit unconventional. And then the same thing as with the dressage, we get to see all the horses, put to the test, walk, trot, cantered, and jumped before we go in. That horse there that's about to kind of reverse backwards, that's the one I drew. So at this point, I was not feeling super optimistic, and I was first in of the whole day. This horse here was one of the nicest ones. So then I was off to warm up as the first to jump. You get 5 minutes for jumping, no more than that, and you're allowed 4 jumps. And here's your warning, this round is going to be a little bit messy. I had to use a lot of leg, I had to ride everything like we'd already had about 3 stops. Bless Cloudy, this is Cloudy. I don't think Cloudy was feeling it that much, but I was just trying to keep him moving forward. But yeah, you're going to see some reasonably horrific overriding. I just wasn't convinced it was going to ditch me at the bottom of the fence, because that's what it was doing a bit in the warm-up, just stopping in the last second. So I was just trying to really drum up as much impulsion as physically possible, which proved quite difficult. I'm actually mortified at what I'm about to show you. Cloudy stopped at this fence about 3 times in the demo, and oh my god, I saw a bit of a long stride and I pushed for it. And for some reason I put some faith in this horse. Like, what is the cardinal rule of getting on a horse you don't know? Sit back. I'm so embarrassed, and then that time was completely my fault. I wasn't even on it. I'm really embarrassed about that, in case you can't tell. I'm sort of now waffling about how embarrassed I am that just happened. The first stop was a bit naughty, it was a bit unfortunate. I saw a flyer to a fence that the horse didn't really like very much, and I should have been quicker to react. But the second time was just pathetic. I shouldn't have let Cloudy run out. Interesting that he went a different way the second time though, because I wasn't expecting that. Anyway, I think that gave me a little bit of a kick into shape, because you're only allowed 1 more stop, then you get eliminated. And I actually think this line looked a little bit better, but it's a bit of a shame. I definitely did not need to have those stops, and just the whole start of that round, well, the whole round in general, but particularly the start, reasonably embarrassing, but it's done. I'll talk more when I conclude, but I was quite pleased to get this round finished with. Now on to some of my fabulous teammates' rounds. Smashed it! You have some trouble pulling up though. Trouble pulling up. You look great. And so there you have it. You've come along to a university style riding competition. You've seen what they entail. I'd be lying if I said I was excited about putting this vlog up because some of my riding was not great. I think we can all agree perhaps the luck of the draw was not on my side during first in both dressage and jumping, but at the same time I definitely should have been more on it than I was. But it's probably good for people to see, especially if you're someone that's thinking about doing university riding one day or someone that does it. This is just how it goes. Some days it goes well and some days it doesn't, and it's definitely taught me that I'm incredibly lucky to have both of my boys who are both very responsible for my leg and aren't always trying to like fall in around the corners, but I need to get better under pressure in these situations because I find it quite easy to get on a horse when I'm schooling that I don't know and, you know, encourage them into the corners and, you know, still look reasonably nice and ride well. But it's funny how putting you in a competition atmosphere just changes everything, and suddenly like it's quite stressful and everything goes out the window whilst you're trying to remember a course or whilst you're trying to remember a dressage test, to also be on this unknown horse that you don't know and be trying to figure out what it's trying to do, like what its little quirks are. It's tough. BUCS University riding competitions are tough, but they're good fun. Like the team day out was brilliant. I didn't end up filming any of like the prize giving or the rosettes or the journey home. In case you can tell, I wasn't exactly having the best day. I actually would not have been eligible to place individually because I'm part of the like sort of BUCS competitive league teams, and this was actually just a friendly competition, which makes it 10 times more embarrassing that I wouldn't have placed anyway. But that's how it goes. A week after I'm filming this outro, I'm headed to my team's final league competition, and there's quite a lot riding on it. If we come first, I think we qualify for regionals, so we don't want to miss out on that. So I shall bring you along with me and document that as well. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed seeing a different side to competition, even if it wasn't my finest day. We ended up coming third as a team overall. Couldn't work out, there's only 4 teams in it, and some of my amazing teammates did very, very well. I think we had a 3rd and a 4th individual place. So yes, I think that's pretty much everything I have to say. Obviously I could sit here and just like cringe over my riding because but I watched it back and it's given me the kick up the backside that I need for next week when it really matters. Just always expect the unexpected, and yeah, won't let anything slide. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up and leave a comment below. Leave a comment below if you want to see more of these vlogs or if you'd rather just see the eventing ones. And I'll see you very, very soon. Bye!